Well, you have finally got here. You are listening to the Erskine Music Podcast. Here, by popular demand, we discuss life, culture, Christ, and of course, music. These half-hour broadcasts are perfect for a commute, coffee time, chat, or any other gap in your schedule where you want to put great content. So without further ado, let's join the conversation today, already in progress.
School's in session. No. And let's get a guest on here. Brother Michael Ricks.
Well, good morning. Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you feeling?
I'm doing well. I'm going to get this audio thing squared away. Could you just really quickly tell everybody who you are for those that don't know? Because if you know, you already know. But let people know who you are, and then we'll get our 3 for 3, and then we'll get into our discussion for today.
Well, my name's Michael Ricks, and first of all, Erskine, thank you for giving me the opportunity to jump on here and hang out with you again. We are kind of in two different facets of the music world, so our worlds kind of like end up, interacting from time to time, and so we always look up, and so we kind of see each other, in different realms, and so it's good.
And for the folks who are wondering, that's kind of there are other Black people who do music kind of situation.
Yes, especially in our world.
Yeah.
So, I'm in the country music world. Been in Nashville a little over 10 years. I play banjo. I do kind of a bluegrass meets country kind of thing. People say, "What kind of banjo do you play?" I say, "Well, I call it country banjo." Most people are very used to traditional bluegrass banjo, so they are expecting kind of a rapid fire, highly paced, fast-paced music sound. Mine's a little bit different, but it does include some rapid fire banjo, but just not kind of in the standard process that you're used to hearing when you hear bluegrass. So I'm originally from a small town called Lima, Ohio.
He was born in a small town.
Yes, yes, a small town north of Dayton, and oil and steel in
Ohio.
And also spent a good number of years as a kid in Indiana as well. So I'm kind of, pretty much Midwest, So, been in Nashville a little over 10 years. Interned with Toby Mac at the beginning of my saga to Nashville. Ended up interning there at his studio for a few months, and then ended up working with a guy named Bill Whittington, who recorded people like Vince Gill, Amy Grant. He recorded quite a few Christian music artists, but also quite a few country artists.
Mm-hmm.
Interning with him, and then that led to me working with people, God bless their soul, Mandisa and any other numbers of artists, and so got to be on a firsthand level with a lot of the work that is done in the music world inside the studio. And I learned quickly that interning was a very, very reasonable and people wonder what's like a pathway into the industry, what's like a way to
that's good. Help them out
and get where you'd like to be prospering in the industry, and I found out that that was a great way to get in.
Fantastic. Well, with that introduction, is there more that you want to say?
Oh yes, sure. I'll present more as we're going.
Yeah. That's kind of what our discussion is today. That's what people are tuning in for. So let me get this top story. Well, this is the beginning of the top story. 1 for 1. All right. You've played with a lot of different music artists, and you mentioned some amazing artists there. Of the artists that are out there, who is somebody that a lot of people maybe recognize, but they don't recognize just how amazing this artist is? Who's the most underrated music artist that you've played with?
Man, that's a good question.
They're all great, but somebody that people don't know from behind the scenes how great this person is.
Well, like I got to work with Jim Johnson.
Okay.
Recorded "Must Be the Money" for Nelly, and he was part of Usher's, like some of those first songs we heard from Usher. He's the one that gave Kelly Rowland her first #1, and he's the dude. Not only like about making great music, he's about being a good person and about being responsible, respectful, honorable. So behind the scenes, he's giving all this kind of advice, and really it's like teaching people, kind of being like a father to people.
Oh, wow.
Would never know that, but he's like really, really just a great person.
Yeah.
Just kind of teaching and being respectful in that way. So I always feel like the talent is kind of one of those things that it's easy to get hyped on the talent, and then before you know it, you've kind of minimized what the human experience is really.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Those are the kind of things that only you, sir, coming on this show could give us, those behind the scenes understandings. And then all the folks are great out there, but a little bit of extra underrated.
Yeah, he's producing a lot of country music. He's produced the NFL, the one with Carrie Underwood called Champion.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot of different things with people like Blanco Brown. Blanco. He's another underrated artist that people are kind of like, because of MTV and things like that, we used to all see the same artists, see the same people, see that there's kind of a collective where we all kind of got the same information. But Blanco Brown is probably one of those other artists that's underrated right now.
Amazing. Third question, sir. What's the coolest place that you've ever played at? Whether it be the ambiance or the audience or the locale, what's the coolest place that you've ever thought, hey, I'm playing music at fill in the blank?
Man, this past 2 weeks, I got to go on tour with The War and Treaty, and I'm standing on stage at Stagecoach. I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And just, realizing I'm like, okay, all right, I'm here.
I'm here. Started at the bottom now. Yeah.
Yes. Then the other places playing the Grand Ole Opry's Opry Community event. They do a once a year event that they used to do that they continue to do at the Ryman. And if you don't have tickets or it's basically a free event, and you don't have to pay. You just show up. It's kind of an outdoor festival on the property grounds of the Grand Ole Opry.
Okay.
You bring your kids, you bring family, you bring friends, whatever. There's outdoor music.
And when is this?
Usually in September.
Okay. We'll help some families out.
Yeah, Opry Community Day. It's free, and they take you through the entire history of the Opry. They walk you through the wall with all of the medallions with the people's names engraved on them. You can see all the mailboxes with, inside the Opry, where you can literally mail different country artists at the Grand Ole Opry. They'll go in and check their mail in these boxes. Then you can go on in and see where they have all the instruments for all the players that play for the shows. Then you can go back and you can see the circle. You can see, you can take photo in the circle. Then they happily route you through the gift shop.
Oh, of course. Of course.
You can buy your picture.
There's a process here in Nashville. There's a reason why people come here.
Yes.
There's a reason why property taxes are going up, and rent and. 3 for 3, sir.
Well, that certainly gives a sense of why people enjoy this show. Very engaging, very heartfelt. We will return to the conversation in a few moments, but first, let's thank our sponsors and you for all your awesome support. Moody Radio's Dawn and Steve Morning Show, Life Action Ministries, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and Holt International. Thanks so much to our partners who make such a difference.
Thanks, Jason. This is Dawn.
And this is Steve of Don and Steve in the Morning on Moody Radio. You can find us online at donandsteve.org, or you can listen through the Moody Radio app.
And as friends of the Erskine Music Show, we always enjoy the variety of topics our friend has on his show.
So, on behalf of our show, thanks, Erskine, for bringing great Christ-centered topics to the people.
All right, let's get back to the show. This is where it gets good.
Oh, I'm trying to debate here. There's a lot of great content that we could just dive into, but maybe I'll have you react to a Chris Brown video really quickly about some things that he had said about the music industry, and just kind of get your take on that, and then we'll launch out into maybe a little bit more. He's on the Breakfast Club, and so for those of you who know Chris Brown, R&B artist, soul, those kind of categories, but he's talking about the music industry in general, and he makes a comment here. It's only about a minute long, so we'll talk about this. I guess put it against the backdrop of your experience in the music industry, and then we'll have a discussion. How about that?
Awesome.
Now, somebody like Justin Bieber, he got low. It seems like he's popped back up, and he's trying to have a cleaner image. And it seems like the media is allowing it, not just allowing it, but kind of like pushing it. Wonder why they don't give you those same chances.
It's skin color. I'm light skinned, but not that shade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, everybody gonna be like, "Oh, pull a race card." Man, y'all know this music industry. It's 1935. Right.
You know
now.
what's funny, man?
It's just a different face.
Right.
People don't speak up and say how it is, but you got us that I can go and make a R&B song that's just like, okay, that's the best I heard, but it's gonna go so far on rhythmic,
Right.
maybe touch, a top 40 station, but you get another artist, different color thing. It's the newest generation of music. God is so innovative. What for?
Right.
Why? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not a hater because I love their music too, but it is what it is.
All right, it is what it is. Is that what it is? Give us your experience in the music industry, and I'm curious to know, because I have obviously my own experience, and I'm not sure what that is. It keeps static, it keeps coming in there, but hopefully we'll try to cut that out here. Give me your thoughts on that and your experience. Maybe give you your experience, and then is there anything that he said there true so far as you see it?
Yeah. My experience, there's been moments of disappointment and rejection. Sometimes I can't tell if it's color-based. Sometimes I think there's parts of it that are color-based. And then other times it's just knock down, drag out, a fight to make your way in this music world, to your way through the ups and downs and the massive changes. I believe that there probably are significant disappointments that he's faced, where he's been, marginalized or not given certain platforms and things. I tell you what, a guy like him is winning so big that all I can say is, man, hope he keeps going. The marketing that, for example, like an artist like India Ari, when you look at where they could be or how mainstream they could be, and some of it could be the genre as far as like mainstream pop artists, just like once they just make you a main artist, and I feel like R&B is kind of more over here, or like country is kind of slightly over here. So and then hip hop's right there next to pop. So it's certain genres are easier to be fully seen, and so it's very interesting. All I can say is his personal experience definitely matters. So I don't know every single situation where he's maybe been slighted or opportunities have been withheld. I think of somebody like Michael Jackson, who came through the 70s and through the years that the civil rights movement was probably, by that point, a lot of the unrest had
Do
significant.
you have this show on somewhere else other than where we're recording it?
No.
Okay. It's weird. I'll get an echo out of here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it's everyone has their own experience, and everybody has to fight through whatever battles that they have. And thankfully, the era that we live in, I tell people that, yeah, there might be some racism involved, but honestly, it's just whatever evil is in the heart of the individuals that you encounter that are intending to impede your path, or for whatever reason they don't promote you or don't whatever. And at the end of the day, you just have to water off the duck, man. Just go.
Yeah. You feel like you've experienced a good measure of that? Because in the one hand, I hear you saying, I mean, the hard work, the competition, all the different things that are out there. I mean, you would expect that. Anybody should expect that. If somebody's watching this today and they're thinking, I'm going to be a music artist. Hey, my grandmother told me I could sing. You get in line. Everybody else's grandmother told them they could sing as well. And you know what I'm saying? It's just the sheer volume of people who are involved in what it is that you're doing. There's so many different options that people have, and the algorithm funnels people one way or another. Is it actually have you actually experienced, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, have you actually experienced racism from the standpoint that somebody came up to you, said something, they're like, you know what, you're too black to be more successful in this, and so therefore I'm going to limit? Or is it something that you perceived, or something that somebody else told you? How do you quantify that?
I've noticed different circumstances that materialize.
Okay.
I tell you what, man, a lot of your own attitude gives you the ability to either, for that stuff to even try to come up to you, or even like be attracted to you. And I'm one of those people that believes in the law of attraction. I believe in the laws that God put in the universe that have to do with the altitude that you live at as an individual. And I tell you what, God in his mercy has been good to me. I mean, I see the thing I see in Nashville is, if you are white, there is a certain kind of slightly easier thing, because they're used to seeing that. So if I have a football team and I'm used to seeing every athlete that comes to the tryout is African American, certain height, certain weight, the best of the best, and then a guy from India comes in with with the hair and the fashion and everything. He comes into the interview, talks to me, and then he goes out on the field and kills it, right? But if I first see that guy from India, I'll be like, wonder if this guy can play.
Okay. I want to hear out what the rest of what it is you're saying, because I'm thinking in my mind, if they go out in the field and they kill it, and they went out in the field and they killed it.
That's exactly right. Right. Exactly right. So some of what's happening is bias, where they're just not used to seeing African American artists out there, and they're not, perceived. It's kind of like when Willie Jones, he was on, it's not America's Got Talent. What's the other show that Simon Cowell's on?
Not American Idol. The Voice. No. I don't know. I don't pay attention to any of those shows. Exposed. I'm exposed this morning. I don't pay attention to any of those shows. Hope you guys do well in those shows.
He was on X Factor.
Once you get to the top of those shows, they're going to own you. And so if you think you're going to do your original music, they're going to profit off of you for as long as they possibly can. Anyway, back to our interview.
Yeah, so Willie Jones came on there and said, baby, lock them doors and turn them lights down low. And they didn't expect him to do that. They, he kind of had a different. Actually, if you look at his clothes, it's actually kind of like just kind of Americana, like Midwest, like just kind of cool. Way he was dressed. He didn't have a cowboy hat on, or, any kind of thing like that. So he was not what the quintessential country music artist looked like. And then he started singing, and country, like bona fide Randy Travis, you know, Merle Haggard country came out. And so, you know, it's kind of the same thing, you know, that they do here, you know, in Nashville. They're, you know, we're still creating that pathway, you know, where people like Robert Randolph, you know, and different, you know, Mickey Guyton and Reese Palmer, who was one of the first, probably since, man, I think it was like the 70s or 60s. There was an artist. She was the first Black woman to chart for years, you know, between the,
Okay.
you know, and some of that is also, as African Americans, we kind of, you know, there wasn't very many of us going into that path until, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. I have actually met other Black artists that nobody knew about, and they were overlooked and just kind of couldn't get their footing. And that's the thing too. There's some nature of some dynamics too, where you're looking for a business team, you're looking for management,
Okay.
resources, and people just kind of look at you and don't help, don't get on board, don't, you know. Then you see other artists come in the industry, and people, they get marketing, they get PR, they get, you know, and a lot of times they don't even have the money to do it, but people will stick their neck, and, you know, and then they'll chip in with them, you know, until the money arrives. You know, because a lot of these people that you see working with these artists, you see people like Lainey Wilson. My good friend and bass player Dale Dudley played with Lainey Wilson for years, when she was not known on the national scene, you know. But these people, a lot of times, they are working, the management and the marketing people, they're working for free, you know, giving these people the shot that they need. You know, they're money or doing whatever they got to do. So yeah.
I don't know the country music side of that, and so I'm hearing from you and listening to the conversation and letting you speak into that, because that's not a world that I'm as familiar with, or, you know, connected with. Every once in a while there may be some overlap, you know, downtown and some different things. But I was having a conversation similar to this yesterday, and I was saying the difficulty for me, and this is sort of my own referential experience, the difficulty for me is there starts to be a certain type of Gnosticism where a person is like, I just know that there's something that's going on. Well, how do you know? Did somebody say something? No, they didn't say anything to me, but when I went in the room, there was a different atmosphere. Okay. Like, give me more, give me more. Well, people were helping them, but they weren't helping me. Okay, well, did you find some people that you thought could help you, and then you work with them? Like, some will, some won't. So what? And I understand that my experience has not been maybe typical, but I'm trying to bring it to a center point. Like, when people start talking about racism and things that, you know, the Black culture or Black people are experiencing, I typically look at some of those things is an indication, kind of similar, not necessarily the law of attraction, but similar to what it is that you were talking about. What are you bringing to the table? If you're bringing negativity to the table, who in the world would want to work with you in the first place? If you're bringing a certain attitude or a certain perspective or a certain measure of distrust toward people, why would you think they would want to work with you? And then I jump on the other side of that, and it's like, well, what are you actually doing yourself? And I'm not invalidating any of those experiences. Please don't hear me say that. I'm just simply saying that there's a lot that I feel like in 2024 we have control of because of social media, because of AI, because of us, you know, leadership in our own building of teams that we can control, that just takes it out of the hands of people saying, well, no, I'm the gatekeeper, and so you can't come through this gate. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I have a similar attitude. And when I say the law of attraction, I'm not talking about the spooky garbage. I'm talking about understanding that all of us carry an atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't give place to racism. I don't give place to, they can stop me. I don't give place to, oh my God, if they would let me do, oh my God, I wish that they were more whatever. In my mind, I'm like, you know, there is no reason, and there is nothing out there that can stop me. There is nothing except you that could say this can't happen. Now, do I face obstacles? Do I face resource challenges? Do I see things out there that and so yes, I agree with you. There are situations where people are not necessarily bringing their best to the table, and sometimes one of the things I love about the Warren Treaty is that they've managed to get on Jimmy Fallon. They've managed to get on Steve Harvey's TV show. They've managed to get into so many pathways and opportunities that they have basically done what you would consider a workaround. They didn't come through many of the traditional channels in Nashville. Like, for example, like Luke Bryan was a songwriter, and he was writing for years inside the Nashville ecosystem. Same thing with, Chris Stapleton. They came through all the radio shows. They came through all the country TV shows. And then they busted up onto the top of the scene once a major label and major radio promotion got behind them. So the Warren Treaty they've been selling out shows and theaters and fairs and festivals and even stadiums, getting to open for some of the biggest artists. Later this year, keep tuned, man, because they're opening for some of the biggest bands in rock and roll that you've ever heard of.
And you're going to be with them?
I'm going to be with them. Yeah, I'm on tour with them.
Awesome. Congratulations as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, we actually wrote a song together the other day with Sherry Pettigo. And I was singing that yesterday, and I was like, this is a really good song. This is going to be fun. I can hear a lot of cool instrumentation with that song that we just wrote. And that's kind of a Nashville thing. I kind of liken it to this. I've described the music industry as kind of like a prize fight, like a 12-round, 15-round boxing match. And sometimes when I'm listening to prize fighters who get a knockout in like the last rounds, they don't even know that they really knocked the person out because they're so punch drunk themselves. They're just throwing a combination. It's like that person swung, and the combination that I've done thousands of times in the gym, I did that combination and I hit him, and then they fell, and then the fight was over. Well, was it the punch that you threw in the second round that hit him in the ribs and maybe broke a rib, or was it the punch that you threw in the 10th round? You don't even really know what it is, but you just know that you better keep throwing some combinations and not getting hit. And at some point, there'll be a knockout. You'll either be knocked out or the opponent will be knocked out, but you don't even really know what it is, because there are so many things in the music industry that, and you've probably experienced this yourself, you've gone and done things for free for people that are just like, man, really, that'd be really nice to get paid for that. But then it opens up the opportunity for you to connect with somebody that then you end up on tour with them or something else like that happens. Is that kind of do you feel like that's a helpful analogy for people?
Yes, it is. It is a helpful analogy because at the end of the day, even if there is racism sent against you, look here, the racism that we see today ain't nothing like what my grandfather, who was the first generation Black police officer in Lima, Ohio, experienced.
Okay.
He would train all of the, he would train the officers that would come into the, police department, and he would train them up, and then they'd get promoted before him for years. He's going to Martin Luther King speeches and things like that. And I'm sitting in the car, and he's taking me and my two sisters to get ice cream, and he's saying, "Pledge allegiance to the flag." And when you put your right hand on your chest and you pull your pants up, and never let the light go down on the flag. He says, and the flag around the world always is illuminated and different things like. And this guy watched segregation. This guy had to sit in the balcony, with my mother as a girl. When my dad talks about his grandparents in downtown Lima, Ohio, sitting in the balconies, with segregation.
Well, you probably already know that when you hear that sound, there's music on the way. After all, this is kind of a music show. Sit back and enjoy. All the music can be easily found on your favorite digital distribution channels. Turn up the volume, and here we go.
got my attention to hear what you say. I've been listening closely, so I don't miss a word. No, I can't go back where I was before. I'm moving forward, chasing so much more, so much more. I started coming alive, setting the world on fire. Nothing can stop me now, my past won't hold me down. No more going in circles, blazing another path, and I'm not going back, no. No more going in circles, I'm not going in circles. No more going in circles.
Still getting stronger, stronger every day. Emotions that held me don't hold me anymore. No, I can't go back where I was before. I'm moving forward, chasing so much more, so much more. I started coming alive, setting the world on fire.
Nothing can stop me now, my past won't hold me down. No more going in circles, blazing another path, and I'm not going back, no. No more going in circles, I'm not going in circles. No more going in circles. You give the strength to change, can't put out this flame. No, you give the strength to change, can't put out this flame. No,
Nothing can stop me now, my past won't hold me down.
no more going in circles, blazing another path, and I'm not going back, no. No more going in circles, round and round and round, round and round and round, round and round and round, round and round and round.
You know, like and you know, so nowadays it's just the evil in their hearts. And guess what? You and me, let's you know, another thing that I tell you what, if the slavery hadn't happened, we wouldn't have Oprah, we wouldn't have Michael Jordan, we wouldn't. So even
Oh, okay.
through,
I just let people talk. I
you
just
know,
let them talk.
God didn't let the evil stop the good that has been brought to this country. Yes, there has been horrible atrocities, but today is the day. Today is the day that God, the Lord, has made, and we will make today an amazing day. We will make the future an even
Mhm.
better. We will make the future generations coming into the earth an even better day for them. And so the
It's a
only
great day to have a great day.
yes, you know that if you look at what we've done in
A
this
recent song I wrote.
ah
Sorry. I'm
no,
sorry. I think in songs now.
no, it's one of those things that we have done nothing but overcome. We have done nothing but triumph over. There's something about our music, our fashion, our whatever it is that we put out there. Matter of fact, it is so good that they want to steal it. So that just tells you we are unstoppable, and that God has blessed the Black community with what we have. So at the end of the day, I just go for it, and and
Yeah.
ultimately I learn every strategy I could possibly learn. One of the things that I'm working on right now is collaborating with different artists. Um, and there are people out there that will collaborate with you. There are certain legacy artists that are nearing the end of their time on this earth, that will collaborate with you because
No, that's so good.
you know they're looking to say, okay, I have a certain number of years left, so now I'm going to collaborate with the next coming generation. A lot
Hmm.
of artists don't look for every possibility, knock on every door, pull on every window, pull on every door, look for a crack in the
This is
glass,
so good. That's so good.
look for all the possible, look for
Yes.
know the live stream, the YouTube video, the way to go viral, the different things that go into this competition, go into that,
Woo.
go.
Come on. He's cooking now, folks. You listen to what it is that he's saying, because this is so true. Just keep cooking, my friend.
Just keep cooking. You got to go. You got to go get yourself on um, uh, like a agency, a casting, so you can be in TV shows and commercials. One of my biggest breaks is TV commercials. So don't let anything stop you. And if you encounter darkness, just run right over it. Just have a good attitude, and don't let it phase you and take your hope away.
Love it. I love it. I was thinking, I think I'd mentioned this to somebody the other day. It would be cool if somebody wanted to sign up for an internship and just shadow me for 3 or 4 days. I'm checking emails, and I've got an email in my inbox that is, here's an audition for an acting part, an acting side. Here's the lines, submission by Thursday. There's that. Got a call yesterday for doing session work, singing, and also playing guitar in Florida. Have house concerts and tours that are scheduled. Have this show that I'm finishing up. Have the weekend show that we're doing. Have my own concert that I'm doing on Friday. Forgot about that one. So there's just so many things that are going on in the course of the day, and it's exactly what you said, Michael. And last week I was writing with you and Sherry, having a writing conference. You just do everything that you possibly can do, and I believe to the glory of God. I've said it like this. I had this conversation recently with somebody and just simply said, I cannot control what other people are going to think about me. And, maybe they don't like me because the way that I do my hair. They're entitled to that. Like, that doesn't necessarily make them a racist. Maybe they don't like people who put their hair on this side. Maybe there's something intrinsically wrong about that, but it's fine. If that's, if they want to live in negativity or people want to live a certain way, I'm not responsible for that. What I am responsible for, I need to be responsible for, which is bringing the love of Christ, bringing kindness, bringing this natural resonant snarkiness that the Lord has given me to a situation, so that there's humor. And I always enjoy it when people are like, you're funny. Like, I didn't realize you were as funny as you are. Like, lighthearted things that I'm doing, but also very serious things that I'm doing, thoughtful things that I'm doing, all the different things that I can control, I need to control. So there's that.
Absolutely. There's tons of things that you can control. And I tell you what, if they block one door, another one will open. If they block one avenue, another one will open. And sometimes the strangest opportunities come from the most unlikely places. And I tell you what, when you're trying to get the smoke out of the house, what do? Open all the windows and all the doors, right? And that's what you do in life. You got to open every window, every door. You got to hoof it. You can't walk slow. You got to run like your life is, the one life that God has given you. People say, oh, tomorrow's not promised. Well, it does say that with long life, he will satisfy you and show you his salvation. So God intends for you to have a future. So you better just put the gas to the floor, learn everything you can learn, work hard, but then find your alignment. Don't work too hard, work smart, because there's so many things that you can do that are going to save you, coming up the rough side of the mountain.
That's good.
And, there's
Okay.
ways to do things that your creativity, will expose to you if you just keep your eyes open. And if you say, Michael Jordan is one of my most favorite athletes.
Hey,
And
the GOAT, you see him back there on the screen.
Okay, that's
That's
funny.
MJ. All right. The GOAT convo is alive and well here because he's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. But that guy made one of the things that Jordan did was that
Not a good guy, but he's the GOAT basketball.
Yes. I mean, he as an athlete, just from sheer performance as an athlete, I can't always speak to his character, but what is to say as far as the shots that this guy would make? He'd be going up there and he'd be flying around and they'd be put their arm out and he'd be like, I said, this guy was always going, okay, when I go up in the air, I'm looking for you. When I'm in the, oh, there you is. I'm over here. And this dude,
they got nothing on us.
Dude would just do, and then he would just be like, and he'd just throw the ball, and then we go, hey, big, like, and I would be like, this guy,
he literally was Space Jam.
Yeah, there was no reason for that. There's no the level of difficulty. There's no way in heck that shows shots going in, and he made more difficult shots. Probably as some of the most, just kind of as normal. It was normal for him to make very, very hard trick shots. Honestly, and people clobbering him, hitting him. For those first number of years, he's super skinny, tall dude. And, now, when we saw the latter period of his career, he had beefed up and lifted all this weights. And, he went from being knocked around the industry. He could dunk anytime he wanted to. He's like, okay, now there's 6 of y'all in there.
We're going somewhere with this. I see what you're doing.
So, you have to have that spirit on the inside of you. Music is a different world, but the anything that's possible kind of mindset. And Michael Jordan would find a way. Michael Jordan got so much that he could find a way. He'd find a way when other people could not find a way. He would find the way that no one else even knew existed. And then he would do it at will. So my old pastor used to say, if you do something long enough, it turns into a law. And that's what, since I can't play in an actual sport where you actually can compete and run faster than somebody or jump higher than some, then I have to use it for my creativity. So Michael Jordan is a big inspiration of what you have to believe is possible. And the truth is, one of the beautiful things about understanding the law of the universe that God put us in, if you want a new car, well, guess what? There are cars everywhere. If you want a new house, there are houses everywhere. If you want to play in a stadium, there's stadiums everywhere. Whatever you're dreaming of, it's already here. So just walk with Jesus and he'll take you there.
Okay. Walk with Jesus. By all means, walk with Jesus.
Pray and believe and believe that you are a superstar. Believe that you are supposed to make an impact in music. Believe that you're supposed to do something incredible. Believe that you have something to contribute to those in need, and use your voice and use your ability to help and serve other people. Believe that.
There you go.
Accident.
Yeah, that service part is important. That to me is a key. Yeah. Following the example of our Lord, he came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. The service part of how can we enrich other people's lives? I think for a lot of people, that's the open door that they're missing, is that they want for me, but they don't recognize that the audience that's in front of them, that God gifts you with, the people that are on your team or the people that are in some way connected with you or brought into your presence, or the people that you have the opportunity to impact their lives. And because they maybe already look to you for a certain thing, you're able to build into their lives or speak into their lives in a certain way and serve them. And I think a lot of people miss that, is that when you serve people well, they want to keep having you around.
Yes, one of the brief things that I'll drop here, and you all are more welcome to look up my story. I'm a cult survivor. That's one of the things that happened to me as a small child. I should have died a number of different times because of lack of medical treatment. One of the beautiful things that happened as my story went from tragedy to triumph, and my life got better, and I was, able to leave the cult life as I grew into an adult, due to the fact that my parents were in the cult. I got to work with an organization called Medical Assistance Program International, and they
Okay.
send it around the world to the tune of 29 million people a year, and they go into the Syrian crisis that was a few years ago. They go into these different regions of the world, whether war-torn conflict areas, and they bring these things called pods that can serve 100,000 people for 3
Wow.
and they send medicine around the world. And due to my story of growing up in a cult and not receiving medication, due to the cult teachings that didn't believe in medication, and they
Okay.
went to prayer.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, thank you, man. Now I'm able to give back. Now I'm able to give back based
Mhm.
upon my story, based upon my experience, based upon what other people would say. Well, that was really terrible. Oh, I moved on from that. Now I'm living my life. I'm living the high life. I'm living my best life. Well, those opportunities and things that really are in my wheelhouse and on my path. A lot of it has to do with the things that were finding the purpose in my pain. And so
That's
um,
good.
that's, as you were talking about, ways to give back to others, ways to serve others. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is standing on a stadium stage and putting a QR code on the big screen and giving people opportunity to hear my story, a short paragraph or two of my story, and then say, listen guys, because of my story and because of my journey, I'm going to show you all these other people that you can help and encourage and uplift and give life to. And so a lot of the things too that have happened, I'll never forget. Sherry invited me to this movie, and they were doing the private showing, the premiere of the movie, and I was just kind of bummed. I was like, well, I don't know, I don't want to go. She's like, come on, man, I worked on this film. They didn't give me a huge role on it, but I'm going. I don't want to go by myself. So I was like, okay, let's go. And sure enough, I got there, and one of my buddies, who I hadn't seen in like 9 months or so, 6 months, he said, hey, would you like to open London Fashion Week with me? His name is Jeff Garner, and he does eco-friendly fashions and
Okay.
textiles
Yeah.
that don't have poison in the fibers, don't have like polyester off gases, carbon monoxide, for example. And so he's cleaning the fashion industry and bringing respectability and health to the fashion industry. So I got to partner with him and go to the arcade, and why is it escaping me? And open with him at the largest fashion, the largest oldest shopping center, the Burlington
Okay.
Arcade in the world. It's been open for over 100 years. I'm the first musician to ever play in there, along with my other two, the other musician that played with me. And Jeff Garner, his Netflix special called "Let Them Be Naked," talking about basically, if either put clothes on people that are healthy and that actually aid in your body's electrical charge, and actually, prevent you from like losing loss of energy and maybe even contributing to sickness, or let them be naked is basically what he's saying.
Interesting.
So yeah, you just
Hey, I
never-
want to have you come back in season 9 and that part of the tragedy to triumph. Let's take that on in season 9 and think through ways that we can make that happen.
We have come to the end of this episode. Don't miss a final word from Erskine.
Hey guys, tell your friends about this show. And as always, I look forward to your interactions. Please contact us as you are able. We love to hear from you. Okay, friends, let's go and make a difference.